Now, Sky News is the latest broadcaster to face the harsh realities of a changing media landscape, with their executive chairman, David Rhodes, telling staff this week that the broadcaster will pursue a new strategy called Sky News 2030, with paid-for premium content and a plan to scale back their live output. There remains some doubt that by 2030, Sky News will even be on regular TV. So why has this happened, and will anyone pay for Sky's increasingly woke left-wing output? Who better to ask than one of the very biggest names in journalism, the former editor of the Sun newspaper and founder of TalkSport Radio, Kelvin McKenzie. Hi, Kelvin.
Yeah, hi there, Mark. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Kelvin, why has this happened?
It's happened for one very good reason, that nobody watches Sky News. And the reason they don't watch it is because their output has become vaguely ridiculous. The truth about the matter is there may not be a massive demand for news. And what demand there is for news is actually not news, it's opinion, right? Everybody's news. Directly you've heard it. There's a crash on the M1. How very sad. Actually, what you're really interested in is why did the crash happen? What's going to happen to those people? Whole load of things. News itself is of no interest. For instance, last night, there are two aspects to it. Last night, I happened to watch the fact that there is a terrible war going on in the Democratic Congo. Okay? Honestly, I don't care. Honestly, we've got enough wars on our own doorstep, and I don't want to know. Actually, that's news. Somebody told me, well, actually, the effect of this is going to be that the price of rhubarb is going to go through the roof. And then somebody explained that why and the warfare. I'd be interested. So news, no value. Sky News then made it worse. Now, Sky News started in 1989, well, 36 years ago. They have been losing anywhere between 20, 50 or 60 million a year every single year. Now, if you were selling carrots down the Walworth Road, and you found out that your carrots weren't selling, and actually, bizarrely, somebody else's carrots, actually celebrity carrots, were selling, why wouldn't you go over to that? They don't do that. They've doubled down. They've moved further to the left. And as they further to the left, two things have happened. One, their audience has gone down. But secondly, along comes GB News. And GB News then hoovers up those people who actually don't want those left-wing carrots. However, let's be honest about it. News actually is not a commercial proposition. The reason that BBC News survives is because you and I are forced to pay a tax. And if we don't like it, what would they say? You're off to jail. If they didn't say you're off to jail, what would happen? The whole thing would collapse tomorrow. I just read a piece in the Times that said that idiot Lisa Nandy, a DCMS leader, right, is now contemplated. What about this? That only if you take a streamer, Netflix, Disney, Prime, or one of those things, which currently are not covered by the license fee, they're thinking of adding the £169.50 to the cost of your streaming. Why? I do not want to subsidise television. Why am I being subsidised? Yeah. So that it can show the big coronations? The big coronations will be shown under all circumstances. Your kind of business is the way that people seem to want to consume their news. They know the news. What they want to hear is they want to hear Mark Dolan's views on it. Or, by the way, not pay for Mark Dolan's views, and in which case, actually, Mark either has to change the views or he has to give up work. And that is the world we're in. And this is why media companies throughout the world, Sky News is a particular example. That guy Rhodes, by the way, everybody says, what a nice chap that guy Rhodes is, right? He has been an absolute disaster for Sky. For some reason, even though he's an American, and probably because it's Comcast, because Comcast itself, CNBC, it couldn't go further left. They had to build a wall to stop it going further left, right? Is that Comcast is strangely woke. I don't like using that expression, but I don't know. Perhaps you've got another one. Anyway, but it's not good news for news generally, though, Mark, because after Rupert Murdoch had a good look round, and he looked at it all, and after he dropped about 100 million quid, then he was in trouble. And even take GB News, fantastic. What an incredible brave bet that is, right? But they've spent 120 million quid getting somewhere near break even. I admire what they've done fantastically, but it's an enormous bet. People are trying to move away from news. I don't know why, but they are.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think actually it's current affairs as entertainment. That's the formula at GB News, which is why they've hoovered up so many viewers and listeners from Sky and establishment media. And of course, here we are, the Mark Dolan Show, the new frontier. But talking about new frontiers, Kelvin, you mentioned when the channel Sky News was launched in 1989. And I think Andrew Neil, your sort of friend and colleague, was involved in the startup. And it was a great product at first, wasn't it? It was a great product, and it revolutionized TV and news coverage in this country. It's a shame it's turned out like this. Where did it go so horribly wrong, given that at its inception, it was an almost instant success?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, it was new. It was new, and the BBC, looked so old-fashioned. Its designs, all its templates were old-fashioned, and all the rest of it. And also the other aspect, it had Rupert Murdoch behind it. And I don't know why, but Murdoch's, by the way, bizarrely clever bloke. I mean, I've fallen out with him, as you might expect, but an enormously clever man. And I think he gave a sense of energy to it, although he told me I have never, ever picked up the phone to any Sky News editor. Right? He said, I never bothered to interfere. He said, that isn't where my business was. My business was getting big people to watch sport and entertainment. It's a big issue. I don't think, so Sky News, I mean, it makes me laugh this, The idea that Sky News doesn't work when it's, quotes, free. Of course, it's not free. It's part of the Sky package. That somebody is going to say, I tell you what, although I'm not watching this rubbish when it's free, I am going to watch this rubbish when I have to pay for it. I mean, it is ridiculous. Honestly, Kay Burley, honestly, there ought to be a date stamp on her. She's been doing it now for about 400 years. I don't know why they're not prepared to change it. So the reality was, Murdoch did the deal of a lifetime. He flogged Sky right at the top of the price. If they were to buy it today, I bet NBC would not buy it today, by the way. Would not go anywhere near it. So they probably would pay half or a third of what they paid. Included in that was a deal that Comcast would carry on funding Sky, despite losing 50 million quid a year, right? Right until 2028. They clearly turned around to old Rhodes and said, David, my son, can I have a quick word in your ear about this? We are not losing 50 million quid a year for anybody. We are stopping this in 28, so work out a new idea. So they've gone, look, I want the thing to succeed. I don't want to see Sky News fail. Media is in a shocking state at the moment. Journalists, TV people, directors, producers, presenters are being laid off by the bucket load at the moment. And the reason for that is that in the old days, the corporates told the consumer what they were going to have. Today, the consumer is telling the corporates, this is what we want. And actually, every so often you come across some brilliant person like Netflix or somebody who says, oh, I tell you what, we're going to do it that way round. But it's very expensive and there is no guarantee of success anymore. And so the news provision, actually, if you were absolutely mad, so if Boris did what you did, he had the Boris Johnson show, and he was not political, but he was absolutely, it would do quite well. But if he starts saying, I don't know whether you've seen what's happening in the Chagos Islands, it's absolutely terrible, then it would go bust like everybody else. So your point is correct. It is in a funny way, news is a version of show business. And that will shock, your three viewers, but that's the case.
3 and growing. Thanks for watching. Now, to see the whole show, ad-free and uncensored, plus bonus material, head to my Substack at markdolan.com.